You just picked up the Division 2 for the first time or coming back after a longer break, but you have no idea which settings to use or simply feel overwhelmed by all the things you can adjust? Look no further. After watching our best settings, no bullshit guide for the Division 2 in 2026, you will have a full understanding of all important options, controls, and changes you must make to be prepared for any situation you might encounter in the Division 2. Let's get right into it. Let's start with general game settings. First, audio. There's not much to worry about here. Set master volume to 100 and keep the music a bit lower. I currently have mine at 70. The music in the Division is so good and really gets you fired up, so I definitely want to keep it on. For SFX volume, somewhere between 80 and 90 is best. This helps you hear footsteps and other important sound effects more clearly, so it should take priority. Dialogue volume is a matter of personal preference, but in my opinion, you can set it a little lower as well, especially if you have subtitles enabled. Adjust mix type to match your audio setup. I play with headphones, so I use headphones. That said, it is worth experimenting a bit. Home cinema can also work surprisingly well with headphones. I have disable VoIP set to yes, since we do not usually play in open groups. However, if you are doing activities through matchmaking, it can definitely be helpful to talk to other players. If you have VoIP enabled, you can fine-tune everything in the settings below. One small tip, pay attention to Dark Zone VoIP channel. If your microphone is set to open and this option is set to all, you might accidentally reveal your position. Next up, controls. Mouse sensitivity and mouse aim sensitivity are, of course, a matter of personal preference. Still, there are two things you should keep in mind. First, both settings should be set to the same value. Mine are both set to 06 and 800 dpi. Keeping both values identical makes things easier for your muscle memory. That's your ability to get used to certain movements and perform them automatically over time. Your aim will thank you for it. Second, a lower setting is better for precise aiming. Fast flicks may look cool, but in the end, what matters is hitting the right spots accurately, such as enemy weak points. That said, you should still set it to whatever feels most comfortable for you. Now, let's get to two really important settings: mouse acceleration and mouse smoothing. They sound great, but they absolutely ruin your aim and overall feel of the game. You should definitely set both of these to off or 0. If you are playing on console or on PC with a gamepad, the same rules apply to gamepad look sensitivity and gamepad aim sensitivity as they do for mouse settings. Lower is better, and both settings should be kept at the same value. Still, without repeating myself too much, it is entirely personal preference. It is best to set the scope sensitivity modifier to 0. This setting acts as a multiplier for your sensitivity settings when using a zoomed scope, for example with sniper rifles. Here, 0 means no change. You can increase it step by step up to 10, which doubles the sensitivity values you set above. If it ends up feeling too slow, simply raise the value. If you are using a controller, I recommend turning gamepad vibration off. It may be fun when the controller vibrates, but it only interferes with your aim. Leave button layout on default. For dead zones, it's best to set both to the same value, ideally 0. As long as you do not have stick drift, this is the best setting. If you do have stick drift, you can compensate for it somewhat by increasing the values a little. But if you have to go above 3, it may be time to think about getting a new controller. Leave the following settings at their default values, except for move around corner. This setting is extremely important. It determines how snappy your movement feels when moving into and around corners while in cover. On slow, it looks like this. If you switch it to fast, everything becomes much more snappy and more responsive. It is absolutely essential for high-level content, so set it to fast. You can leave the remaining settings at their default values, or experiment a little if something catches your eye and seems to suit your playstyle. One last reminder, if you are playing with a controller, make sure aim assist is set to on. It helps enormously with your aim. Again though, this only matters for controller players. Now, getting to graphics. It is difficult to give you the perfect graphics settings for your specific system. This is not meant to be a best settings or highest FPS guide. Instead, we are focusing on settings that improve the overall feel of the game and help you concentrate on what actually matters. In other games, and of course especially in The Division 2, these settings have helped us reduce unnecessary visual clutter, the kind of flashy cinematic effects that may look cool, but only get in the way when you're playing seriously. That includes VSync off, frame rate limit off, resolution scale 100%, so you stay at your native screen resolution. To make things a little more crisp, set sharpening to 9, depth of field off, neutral lighting off, lens flare also off, and vignette effect off. In video, enable reduced latency, yes, if your system can handle it, to reduce input lag. Enable DX12 renderer, yes. The same applies here. If your system can run this without issues or crashes, it is a clear recommendation. HDR off. If you want prettier visuals and your monitor or TV supports HDR, you can turn it on. However, it does not offer any real gameplay advantage. Let's get to the UI. We will be looking at the most important settings here. And, to be quite honest, in here is one of the most sought after settings of all. But first, let's start with Customize HUD. It is absolutely amazing how much you can adjust the HUD interface to your personal liking. You can move almost all elements except the mission or difficulty bar. Make the elements appear bigger or smaller and, on top of that, save 3 different layouts. That's really awesome. Now, on to the most interesting one. If you'd like your damage numbers to look like this, and not like this, there's an easy fix for that. Just set scrolling combat text to floating. This makes it much easier to spot armor hits or crits. Now, accessibility. This might be a little more PvP related, but some people swear on enabling any colorblind mode with, well, Tritanotopia being the most favorite one. I probably totally butchered that now. I personally don't know where I stand on this, and by where, I mean I'm personally not using it at the moment. The advantage of enabling this setting is that you will get a drawn outline of crosshair when you use skill with an AoE zone like the HUD. This also applies to grenades or seeker mines, for example. I can see the benefit in PvP, PvE, I really don't know. A disadvantage, if you want to call it that, is that some colors are different. Green items become blue, for instance. Last one, but maybe the one with the most important settings impacting your gameplay experience directly is, well, no pun intended, gameplay. First off is distance and temperature units. By default, this is set to metric, so distances in meters and kilometers, temperatures in Celsius. That's the one most countries in the world are using. If you don't know what to make of that, and do like it more in feet, miles, and Fahrenheit, Imperial is the one for you. This setting is nothing major, just set it to your personal liking. If you want to have a more immersive experience, turn Show Vault Indicators and Show Cover Indicators to off. The game will then not show any of the button indicators on objects. I'm sure you have heard Isaac say, "Agent in need of backup" from time to time if playing solo. That's on call status. Also something you can set to your personal preferences, and if you like to increase your Shepherd rank for helping out other agents, the one to set to all. I would highly recommend leaving Auto Hide HUD on default, so on. In case you do not absolutely depend on in-game tutorials, turn hints to off. This is probably one of the most annoying things constantly popping up and cluttering your UI. Show damage numbers set to on, of course. Same goes for radar. You can leave the following ones on default or tinker a bit around. Remember when I said there are some very important settings in here? We will get to them now. Show skills on group frame is super important for group play. This setting lets you know what skills your group members are using and if their skills are on cooldown. Show numeric skill cooldown time enables you to see the time it takes for your skills to come back from cooldown. That's definitely something you should have enabled, as it makes timing skills and actions during a gunfight much easier. Being able to see enemies much earlier and having a much broader view over the battlefield is essential in any combat situation. This is where the next two settings come to play: additional field of vision and additional field of vision while aiming. I highly recommend setting both to the max of 25. This will broaden your field of view and you will be able to spot enemies much earlier. Putting this to those values takes some time to get used to, but believe me, it will pay off. It might also give you the impression that you run faster, but that is not the case, as you can see in this side-by-side comparison. And the last one is HUD tutorials. Set this one also to off. Finishing up, here are some in-game settings and tips you might find useful or did not know about. First off, let's start with some inventory and appearance tweaks. You can customize your inventory view by selecting any item and then click on Options or pressing the assigned key. For me, that's X. A new submenu will appear where it is not only possible to change the inventory view from list to grid and also sort your items, but also change some appearance options of your character. Changing the inventory view to grid will allow you to see much more items on one page, but less information on the item itself. This could be useful if you want to sort through your stuff a little quicker, or maybe you prefer this kind of interface much more. If you're wondering why there is no signature weapon visible on my character, that's because I disabled it in this menu down here. Same goes for showing the equipped mask. So if you like the model for, let's say, the Coyote mask, or any other for that matter, you can turn this on down here. Lastly, because item and inventory management is a big part of any looter shooter, and particularly within the Division 2, you can use these settings to make your life much easier. Coming to loadouts, you're probably familiar with saving loadouts for your equipped gear. But did you know that you can also do that for your character's appearance? Just switch over to apparel, and you can save up to 16 different appearance loadouts, same as for your gear loadouts. Very cool to change clothes in an instant and wear different stuff every other day. And now, one final thing I definitely learned too late. I think we are all familiar with the different settings in a shooting range. Setting difficulty and all the other things. Sure, we do that to test new loadouts or weapons. But one thing I really did not know as of late, you can change the range of the targets by just shooting on the numbers on top of every lane. I hope you enjoyed watching, and maybe there was something new in here for you to learn. Leave a comment down below if you think there's something missing, or let us know what you found most helpful. A like and subscribe are always much appreciated, and see you in the next one.